Hello, my name is Zheng. Right next to me we have Jason Fang and David Yu. Today we'll be talking about the impact of influencers in the world of big data and machine learning, as well as the potential consequences because of it. Jason will be talking about how neurological data can be used to manipulate and sway voter decisions, while David Yu will be talking about the consequent implications of such use. And I will be discussing the role of influencers in their ability to shape group opinions, and as well as what ethical responsibility that they should hold. So to start this off, what exactly is an influencer? Simply speaking, an influencer is someone who holds the power or ability to affect a group, affect the decision of other people. We can see this in practice in a reading called Studies Show Some Political Beliefs Are Just Historical Accident by Scott K. Johnson. In this reading, an experiment was conducted where 10 groups of people were asked whether or not they agreed on certain topics or statements on certain topics such as cryptocurrency. And in each of these 10 groups, they are equally divided by a number of Democrats and Republicans. Of the 10 groups, 8 groups were given information regarding other participant responses, whereas the 2 other groups did not. The results show that in the 8 group where participant responses were shared, there was a occurrence of polarization with the responses, whereas the two group that did not have information being shared did not have such an extreme of polarization. This brings us to the conclusion that in a social environment where information is being shared, group opinions are more polarized or extreme. This just goes to show the extent of how drastic opinions and stances could change with the involvement of influencers, which in this case, the participants themselves were the influencers when they were sharing information with one another. By gaining information of other participant responses, it affected their own decisions, causing them to take a particular stand whether or not they agreed it or not. And bringing in the topic of big data, companies nowadays have abundance of our abundance of our own personal information. These information can be used to affect our everyday decision making. This could be in the form of advertisement or political rallies. Usage of such data can potentially undermine our own autonomy to make our own decisions. And I would like to bring in the topic of how politicians can use these data to Jason.
All right. So with the amount of technology advancement and growth of technology being used, we leave a lot of data behind, which can be collected by big data to use, and which allow politicians to use those information to target certain people. One good example that happened in the recent years, which used our data to influence us, is during the Cambridge Analytica in the 2016 election, where Cambridge Analytica used Facebook's users' data, such as likes, posts, shares, reactions, anything, to sell this information to politicians so that they can target certain people so that they're more likely to vote for them during the election. In the article, the neuropolitics consultants who hack voters' brains quoted the parent firm of Cambridge Analytica, which worked for Trump, has reportedly used facial analysis to assess whether what was said they felt about candidates was genuine. Along with big data, such as our posts and reactions and anything that we share, there's also things like using our facial emotions to see if our feelings for certain candidates are true. So what one of the firm would do would be collect those information and sell it to politicians so that they can format their speeches or whatever they do to more towards the people's likings so that they're more likely to be chosen. So another quote, also in the same article, quoted by Omi, said, "I measure hesitation. I can change your mind only if you hesitate. If you're a firm believer, I cannot change anything," he says. If you're scared to be manipulated, learn. The more you learn, the more firm and stable your attitudes are, and the more difficult it is for someone to convince you otherwise. That shows that because we're not very knowledgeable in a lot of stuff, influencers should be held a large responsibility on influencing us. And because we don't most of the time not knowledgeable, our decision can be impacted in different ways. And I'll bring that topic to David.
I would like to expand on how influencers have a major impact on those that listen and believe, make decisions on what they believe that their peers want to hear or society would approve of. A prominent example of this question is shown in the scene from the movie 42 about the first black Major League Baseball player in the US. The scene shows that people are not born racist but become racist by following those who they look up to and society around them. In the scene, it shows an unbiased child about skin color is influenced by his dad and the crowd at the baseball stadium when they start shouting derogatory terms to Jackie Robinson when he walks out onto the field. He later joins in with his dad and the crowd shouting the derogatory terms because it's correct in that society or that time in history. The scene perfectly portrays that people are influenced by those that are around them, and the answers that they give are actually like not their own choices. Looking back at history, we can also see one. This is also an example from one of the most notorious figures in U.S. and world history, Adolf Hitler, who exploited a whole country of people using data and influencing them to believe and act in a hateful way. Hitler used the loss of the war and the weakness of people to gain control of Germany through propaganda and sense of security through power. From history, we can see that influencers could use data from a situation and twist your hand into believing what they're preaching. Thank you.